Now, to break down what we heard from politicians tonight, let's bring in Mike Wagner, a professor at UW-Madison School of Journalism and Mass Communication. Mike, thanks for joining us tonight. President Biden was speaking to a divided Congress. Did he make proposals that Republicans could support?
There were a lot of things that President Biden talked about tonight that are quite popular among many Republican voters and popular with some Republican lawmakers. Whether there's enough of that to persuade the House majority, especially where the Republicans are in charge, to follow the president's agenda in some way, of course, remains to be seen.
Mike, we know tomorrow President Biden will be in the Madison area. It's the second straight year he's coming to Wisconsin the day after the State of the Union. Why is the Badger State so important to his agenda?
Wisconsin is really ground zero for presidential politics. It's one of a very few states that can credibly go in either direction. There are a lot of voters in Wisconsin that were really the targets of his speech tonight. Middle class voters, voters who are in labor unions or have families who are members of labor unions, people who need critical infrastructure like fast internet or improved roads and bridges to do their jobs and live their lives in ways that they would hope. These are the targets of the speech, and we see a lot of people in our state who fit the mold of the kind of person he was talking to tonight.
Mike, a recent Marquette Law School poll shows Biden with a favorability rating of 43%. As people start to look toward the 2024 election, could tonight's speech move that needle at all?
Probably not. State of the Union speeches tend to have a short shelf life in terms of presidential approval. What it's really doing is laying down an agenda. The president was talking about things that the government has accomplished on his watch and goals that he has for the future. It was clearly a kickoff to a campaign. He said, let's finish the job or finish the job around a dozen times tonight. And so it was really a speech that was forward looking, but also doing what politicians do, which is claim credit for things that were good that happened on their watch and lay out an agenda for the future.
Last thing before we let you go, you just mentioned this, politicians claiming credit. Biden put a big emphasis tonight on economic growth, new jobs. Are those messages breaking through and resonating with voters?
It takes time for those things to break through. Usually, the performance of the economy takes a few months to catch up to public opinion in terms of evaluations of the president and approval of the president. And so there's still plenty of time for that to continue to help Biden. But there's been strong economic growth in the last fiscal quarter, lots of job growth, inflation going down, all of those things. If those trends continue, would certainly be good news for the president.
All right, Mike Wagner, thanks for joining us tonight.